every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTv News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTv Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape. In our major story tonight, Minister of Finance Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala at a briefing on the details of the 2014 budget says a total amount of 130.7 billion naira was released to the Ministry of Defense for military operations between January and April. Also in this program, Nigerian Army says all soldiers involved in the rescue operations for the abducted Chibok schoolgirls received the same amount as allowance irrespective of rank. A PDP candidate in next month's governorship election in Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, debunks claim that he has been disqualified from the race. Now, Nigeria opponents of code that hosted elected government leaders in Thailand engage in bitter confrontation with soldiers on the streets of Bangkok.
And in business news, Department of Petroleum Resources uncovers illegal engine oil factory in Niger State.
And sports. The stage is set for Saturday's UEFA Champions League final as Real Madrid and local Spanish rival Atletico battles for who becomes the king of Europe in 2014.
Thank you for joining us again. Tonight, the federal government has revealed that between January and April, a total amount of 130.7 billion naira has been released to the Ministry of Defense for military operations. The Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, disclosed this while briefing journalists on the details of the 2014 budget, which was signed into law by President Goodluck Jonathan. The minister says the welfare of the military was one of the most important priorities of the federal government owing to its campaign against terrorism in the country. Giving a breakdown of the amount disbursed so far to the military, the minister says 85.9 billion naira was released for personnel cost, while the balance was for overheads and capital expenditure. She explained that the sector currently gets a provision of about $1 trillion in the 2014 budget, adding that based on that current demand, no amount of budgetary provision could take care of the operations. Okonjo-Iweala debunked claims in some quarters that the ministry was responsible for delays in salaries of men of the armed forces. She added that the military handled the payment of salaries of its personnel as they had not been captured under the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System. The Nigerian Army says all soldiers involved in the rescue operations for the abducted Chibok schoolgirls received the same amount as allowance no matter the individual's rank. Defense spokesman Chris Olukolade disclosed this in Abuja. He says the amount paid to the generals in the operations is what is paid to the private soldiers both for feeding and for allowance. This, according to him, should make sense to Nigerians that it is not easy and virtually impossible for anybody to take what belongs to the other. The system, he added, is too tight for that, really. He advised Nigerians not to make statements that were capable of dividing the army. Governor Jonah Jang of Plateau State says the consistent reign of terror by Boko Haram has put the country in a state of war. Jang, who spoke while inspecting the scene of Tuesday twin bomb blast in Jos Market, says Nigeria will know no peace unless the terrorist group is defeated. The governor described the perpetrators of the blast as enemies of the country and added that nothing can stop the aspiration of President Goodluck Jonathan in 2015. He called on citizens of the state to be security conscious and vigilant and report any suspicious character of movement around them. Jang, while advising politicians to stop playing politics with human life, says he is disappointed at the way some politicians in the country treat Jonathan. The Presidential Fact-Finding Committee on the abduction of the Chibok schoolgirl says it has made substantial progress in its assignment. The committee's spokesman, Kingsley Osadolo, disclosed this in a statement made available to journalists in Abuja. Although Osadolo did not disclose details of the committee's findings so far, he admitted that its members who are currently in Maiduguri, Borno State, have not concluded the assignment. Members of the committee, according to him, interacted with members of the Borno Elders Forum as well as representatives of the Chibok community. He also denied media reports that the committee's members were employed by soldiers from visiting Chibok, describing it as false, misleading, and erroneous. As insurgent attacks on the country continues unabated, the Lagos State Police spokesman Ngozi Braid urged residents to be vigilant and security conscious in these trying times. Samina Speedy has details in this report.
Following the incessant Boko Haram attacks in the northeast of Nigeria and the recent bomb blast in Kano and Jos Market, which claimed several lives, Nigerians have been urged to be more conscious of security challenges within their immediate environment. The Lagos Police Public Relations Officer Ngozi Braid, while assuring residents of Lagos of the commitment of the law enforcement agent to the prevention of terror attack, admonishes that all matters relating to safety of the people should be taken seriously.
Lagos is very, very, very safe. We do not envisage problem here. I'm going to embark on a sensitization tour. I'm going to go around the motor parks. I'll go to hotels. I'll visit schools. I'm going to let them understand. I'm going to talk to them about security. I'm going to give them security tips as well.
The need for people to be disposed towards information was emphasized to evolve a safer Lagos.
Somebody alerted the police that there were some suspicious objects on the ground, items. And it goes to show that all our preachings have entered their ears. People are not security conscious. When you see things you don't understand, you call the police, you call the law enforcement agents. So we really need information. In as much as we have put in enough, we have very watertight security in place, we also need the public to cooperate with us this period.
Security agencies in the country are neck deep in the fight against insurgency, and it is certain that this fight can only be won with the cooperation of the citizens. People are encouraged to report strange movements in their environment and be ready to assist in ridding the country of terror. Tamnemi Speedy Bote, CoreTv News, Lagos.
In an exclusive interview with our Ekiti State correspondent Rashid, governorship hopeful Ayodele Fayoshi of the People's Democratic Party debunked rumor that he has been disqualified from June 21 governorship race.
Well, I am yet to be aware of that. It's part of the fear being expressed by them. They're afraid. You understand? There's no amount of conspiracy that will stop this journey. It's divine. I can't even stop it myself. It's a train that can't be stopped until I get to the government house.
Messages had earlier been making rounds that Fayoshi has been disqualified from the governorship race by an Abuja High Court. Now, the recent defection of former governor of Ekiti State, Segun Oni, to the All Progressive Congress has been described as a good development. A group of Ekiti elites under the ages of 11 made the statement during a courtesy visit to the governor's office. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
The protracted political crisis in Ekiti State in 2006 that culminated in the impeachment of the then governor of the state, Ayo Fayose, gave rise to a group named E11. Members of the group at inception included Kayode Fayemi, the incumbent governor of the state, Segun Oni, the former governor, and other Ekiti A-list individuals who used the platform to express their political convictions. Although the group succeeded in ousting Ayo Fayose as governor then, its rank was completely broken when two prominent members, Kayode Fayemi and Segun Oni, battled for the soul of Ekiti politics in the 2007 election. Fayemi contested on the platform of Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, and Oni was the candidate for People's Democratic Party, PDP. The center for the group could not hold until the recent defection of Segun Oni to the APC. With Oni's declaration to work for the success of Fayemi at the 2014 governorship election in the state, elites in Ekiti have decided to revive the E11 group. The revival journey took them to Ekiti State Government House, where they met with the governor, Kayode Fayemi.
Here today, that your endorsement for us is 100%. And by this declaration, all structures that E11 created under the umbrella that has crashed is hereby destroyed.
Kayode Fayemi attributed the development of Ekiti and success of his administration so far to the principles of the E11 imbibed by him.
We benefit the great majority of our population, and can I stand before my peers and before God to be held accountable for all that I have done. And when I try to answer those questions, the ethos, the philosophy, the commitment to E11 is one of the things that really resonates strongly.
E11 leadership says Oni and Fayemi's unification is good to the group and the Ekiti people, as they are now set to forge ahead with one voice.
Some 10 years ago, we divided the group into two. Queue up behind these two gentlemen, two patriotic Ekiti citizens. And along the line, there were issues and challenges. But from what you have seen yesterday, you can see that indeed we have overcome those challenges, and we are back on track.
Kayode Fayemi affirmed that he is on the same page with Segun Oni based on their resolve to make Ekiti great and do the group proud once again.
Engineer Segun Oni said yesterday, this is a platform for the future that we're building. The present is important, but it is what we bequeath to our children that is even more important. Because if it is what we're going to eat, none of you should even be here doing this.
E11 gained much popularity with the role it played in Ekiti politics between 2004 and 2007. Now that the group is back and fitly united in thoughts, Ekiti people are eagerly waiting to see if E11 can again exhibit its domineering influence on the electorates in the forthcoming June 21st governorship election, just as it had done in the past. Rashid, CoreTv News, Ado Ekiti.
When CoreTv Primetime News return after the break, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekwemadu says the National Assembly will expedite action on petroleum industry bill. Details and more after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go. The global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Meridian Hotel, Point Oxpiment, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your voice. Supported by
this One Wash Challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
You're still watching CoreTv Primetime News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTv News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTv News NG. Also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTv Space News. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekwemadu says the National Assembly would expedite action on the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB. Ekwemadu gave the assurance when he received a delegation of the newly elected leadership of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. He says that the Senate is mindful of the benefit of the PIB to Nigerians and those in the petroleum sector and would work to enthrone the major reforms contained in the bill. The Senate President urged IPMAN to ensure steady supply of petroleum products. He also implored them to be security conscious in their operations. Leader of the delegation and the national president of the association, Chinedu Okoronkwo, noted that the association is committed to stability in the downstream subsector of the petroleum industry. He also disclosed that the association plans to establish 2 refineries in Kogi and Bayelsa State. Now, the extension of the national conference has attracted condemnation from some Nigerians. A political analyst, Ihosu Olatibosu, says the extension is unnecessary. He termed the outcome of the deliberation as a duplication of the rules of the National Assembly. Motayolo has details.
The ongoing national conference has been extended with 4 weeks. The political analyst Ihosu Olatibosu says there is no need for the extension because the delegates are responsible for underutilizing the period of time allotted to them by the president.
Going by what happened in the first 2 weeks of the conference when we were discussing frivolous issues, the issue of procedure, the rules of business and so on and so forth, they wasted so much time on agreeing on how to start. Now that we are entering the most sensitive aspect of the work of the conference, that is when we are really going to see the kind of stuff that the conference. And don't also forget the fact that some of the people or delegates at this conference, do they have the temperament, do they have the emotional stature, are they well informed to make well-informed contributions?
Olatibosu applauded the proposal for creation of more states by the delegates. He says the idea is not a bad one but lacks confidence in the patriotic spirit of those proposing it, saying they seem to be selfish.
Because of what state have become in Nigeria today, against the normal thing the state should be in a federal system. As a kind of federal system that is in the model of federal system that is practiced in federal societies, federal countries like the United States of America and India. But the way we are practicing our own here is complete deviation.
The political analyst also says Nigeria will have a better future where elections will be free, fair and devoid of bloodshed. Omotayo Alo, CoreTv News, Lagos.
Lagos State Commissioner of Establishment, Training and Pensions, Florence Modupe Oguntuashi, addressed journalists on the occasion of the 3rd year anniversary of the 2nd term of the administration of Governor Babatude Fashola. Video Koro has details and this report.
This year's press briefing of the Ministry of Establishment, Training and Pension centered on how the ministry has fared in the running of its mandate with regards to industrial disputes, labor union representation and safety of workers.
Issues of pensions, issues of wage review, industrial matters, these are currently receiving the attention of the ministry, and before the year runs out, we will be able to make specific pronouncements on the stance of the state government.
Hazard allowance for state fire service officers became the focus of discussions. Oguntuashi, however, says that the allowance would not be for the fire service workers alone.
Group of officers that are entitled to the hazard allowance. And with the coalition of all the entitled officers, I want to believe that before the year runs out, we are going to be able to seek the approval to be able to pay the hazard allowance. Something that we have to be reviewing over and over again. And when we scale through, I'm sure everybody that is entitled will be given. But it's not peculiar to the firefighters alone.
On the issue of delaying the payment of pension, the commissioner says the root cause of the delays is the issue of non-compliance on the part of pensioners to the provisions and standards of making available necessary documentations. She also explained the position of the government on the ongoing strike by teachers of the Lagos State University.
I think we will forever have issues, and we will continue to dialogue with the parties that are involved. I do not see a situation where we will wake up one day and say that all the problems have been solved. As they come along, we continue to solve them. Right now, the Executive Council has set up an executive committee to look into all the issues that they have raised. And I think my PAMSEC that was at ESCO yesterday, because I wasn't there, reported to me this morning that the committee is supposed to be meeting to be discussing all these issues. So the straight answer to that is that there's an Executive Council committee that has been set up to look closely into the matters of the industrial issues between ASU and the state government.
Participants at the briefing urged the ministry to continue in its capacity building efforts which enhances productivity and national development. Beat Okoro, CoreTv News, Lagos.
5 days into the Daliko Rice market fire that razed over 200 shops in Mushi area of Lagos, traders are still counting their losses as the state government carries reconstruction work. Bede Okoro was at the rice market and brought back this report.
Exactly 5 days after the shops were razed by fire, the usually bubbly and vibrant Daliko Rice market is yet to get back in full swing of activities. Traders and shop owners at the market expressed concerns about the slow pace of the reconstruction work, saying they would rather the government allow them make the rebuilding by themselves.
We want, if government wanted to help us, we are ready. But this time of the day, we want this building to be built immediately, at least 2-3 weeks. So if they want to help us, we can bring a contractor who can do it. Then all these places, we will share money and pay them. If government want to help us, then they will give us whatever they want to give us. But for them to wait, for them to, anytime they prepare paper, do everything, they will delay us.
So what we want is that let state or government allow us to use our hand to do the shop. Because immediately they say they will come and help us. After building this place, if we don't have money, we cannot rent shop here. They do it in Tojosho. I have shop in Tojosho. Where the Tojosho born, I lose all my property there. Now they are calling shop there 12 million. 6 million. Awolowo Market, the same thing. Mushi here, the same thing. So if they want to assist us, let them allow us to do this thing ourselves.
The General Manager, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Femi Oke-Oshanyitolu, says the agency has taken practical steps to speedily bring succor to the traders.
Well, immediately the incident occurred, we activated the emergency response plan of the state. All the stakeholders that are important in managing an emergency moved straight to the scene. And with a well-coordinated emergency response, we are able to prevent the spread of the fire. We curtail the fire and we put off the fire.
He advised on the precautionary and safety measures that needed to be installed in the market to avoid a reoccurrence.
A lot of safety measures in place because, one, we have to have a robust, effective and efficient market emergency management committee in place at that market.
As the reconstruction work goes on, some of the traders seem to be impatient at the pace, calling for a speed up of the process. Beat Okoro, CoreTv News, Lagos.
The International Day to End Obstetric Fistula was celebrated the world over. Lagos medical experts say the disease is preventable and can be treated. Health correspondent Anita Fatiji has details in this report.
Obstetric fistula is an injury that occurs during prolonged obstructed labor. This condition harms women physically, socially, and economically. The disease can be treated and it's preventable. A rise in the number of cases is attributed to poverty and poor access to reproductive health services. A professor of anatomy, Medical Arts Center, Oladapo Ashiru, says it also occurs among rape victims.
Very occasionally, rape victims can have it because of the narrow, that will usually be the uterovaginal fistula. It will be between the vagina and the urethral passage, and that can occur. Also, infection can cause it.
A gynecologist at the Medical Arts Center, Latifa Kionla, says fistula occurs when a woman has gone through delayed labor.
When a woman who, in most instances, have had bad antenatal care, usually they don't have good antenatal care. No, they don't go to clinics. They're in the home. They want to be delivered by a community old age woman experienced in such deliveries. And when the woman goes into labor, instead of taking her to the hospital, they usually take her to these women's houses. And there, she'll be left alone, laboring. Sometimes we don't give them any pain relief.
Prevention is better than cure. And how do we prevent that? We need to look at the issue of early marriage. We need to look at that a lot. Our children must go to school. I believe that when they're in school, and by the time they finish at least secondary school, many of them may be bigger enough to marry. They'll be getting to 16 years, 15, 16, and by 18, of course, the pelvis may be that have developed enough to even carry the baby if they want to marry. But by the time you finish university, you can imagine, you get into 20, 21. That's once this will be reduced. Secondly, these type of things also occur in those who may be smaller in stature. Therefore, it's not only a medical problem, it's a problem of your nutrition. Therefore, in a place where you want to prevent this thing like this, it's not only education. In fact, let me say, education is the most important, most important reason, preventive measure for this type of thing.
The increased rate of patients suffering from obstetric fistula has necessitated global campaign to step up efforts in preventing its spread. Anita Fatunji, CoreTv News, Lagos.
You're watching CoreTv Primetime News. When we return on our Primetime News, Sabrina Izopo will be standing by with business news. Join us again.
global competitive map is changing with the rapid advancement of Africa. If you're not speaking to Africa this time, perhaps you're not speaking at all. Join the continent's leading public relations practitioners at the 26th edition of the All-African Public Relations Association Conference, APRA Mauritius 2014. Venue, Le Meridian Hotel, Point Oxpiment, Mauritius. Date, 27th to 31st May 2014. Theme, Advancing Africa. For further details, visit www.afapr.org. Africa, it's time to find your voice. Supported by...
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos
there is still a problem.
Be the first to know.
CoreTv News.
From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTv News.
Welcome to CoreTv.
A 24-hour news station.
You're welcome to Business News. My name is Sabena Izoku. The Department of Petroleum Resources has uncovered and sealed an illegal engine oil manufacturing company in Subu village near Kotangora in Niger State. A team of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps personnel, led by an Assistant Superintendent of Police, Ademola Oyashola, arrested 3 persons from the factory. The 3 persons arrested are the manager of the company, Philip Ambi, sales representative Emeka Anatusi, and Secretary Grace Asilonu. Oyashola told journalists that the suspect will be taken to the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps headquarters in Abuja and handed over to the legal unit for prosecution. The DPR team, led by a zonal public relations officer, Mohammed Saidu, accompanied by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps officers, initially discovered by the factory during a routine inspection and monitoring in the state. Saidu, at the end of the exercise, disclosed that the company was operating without approval from the DPR and in an unsafe environment. He explained that anybody could engage in petroleum product business in Nigeria. Such a person must be licensed by the DPR in accordance with the petroleum industry law. The EU and the World Bank has contributed 48 billion naira grants for the implementation of state employment and expenditure for Resolve C4 projects in 4 states. The Supervisor Minister National Planning Commission, NPC, Bashir Yuguda, made this known at the national launch for C4 projects in Abuja. The launch was organized by the National Planning Commission in collaboration with the World Bank, EU, the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, and the 4 C4 participating states of Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, and Rivers to employ the living condition of the people of the Niger Delta as part of its contribution to the amnesty program of the federal government. The World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Marie-Francois Marinelli, said the bank grant was to assist in addressing youth restiveness, poverty and unemployment in the 4 states, as she called for collective leadership and responsibility by the stakeholders to ensure successful implementation of the project. The EU ambassador to Nigeria, Michelle Erion, said youth empowerment was imperative as some youths engage in terrorism activities due to the poverty in the society. The Director General of Bureau of Public Enterprise, Benjamin Dickey, says the federal government has concluded plans to build a super-grid power transmission system in the country. This is contained in a statement signed by the BPE Head of Public Communication, Chigbu Anichebe, and made available to journalists in Abuja. Dickey gave the assurance when received a team from China Electric Power Equipment and Technology Company Limited, a subsidiary of the State Grid Corporation of China. According to the statement, the new power transmission system, when completed, will enable the country cope with the anticipated increase in power generation. It says Transmission Company of Nigeria was willing to consider all options to strengthen its willing capacity. Dickey expressed the hope that as the capacity of generation increases, Transmission Company of Nigeria would become bankable due to increase in wheeling and transmission charges. The African Development Bank, AFDB, says the Export-Import Bank of India and Nigeria has signed $100 million line of credit agreement of finance energy project in the country. A statement released in Abuja by the AFDB says the managing director of India Exim Bank, Yaduvendra Mathur, and Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, signed the agreement during the AFDB's annual meeting in Kigali, Rwanda's capital. According to the statement, the agreement was meant to provide electricity transformers for solar electrification in rural areas in 3 states of Enugu, Kaduna, and Cross River states. It explained that $100 million was spent on distribution of transformers for 96 communities in 3 senatorial districts of Enugu State. It also said that part of the loan will be used to provide substation, including solar mini-grid electrification and solar street lighting in Kaduna State. The statement added that Indian Exim Bank would reimburse 100% of contract value to the Indian exporters upfront upon the shipment of equipment and goods under the agreement. Barclays Bank has been fined £26 million by the UK regulators after one of its traders was discovered attempting to fix the price of gold. The trader Daniel James Plunkett, who has been sacked, exploited weaknesses in the system to profit at the customer's expense and was also fined for £96,500. The incident occurred in June 2012, the day after the bank was fined a record £290 million for attempting to rig LIBOR. The Financial Conduct Authority found the bank failed to adequately manage conflicts of interest between itself and its customers in relation to fixing the price of gold. The FCA says Barclays' failure to identify and manage the risk in its business was extremely disappointing. And on the stocks reports, the transaction on the Nigerian Stocks Exchange on Friday maintained the bullish trend, with the market capitalization appreciating further 92 billion naira. Market capitalization rose by 0.70% to close at 13.831 trillion naira against 13.06 trillion achieved on Thursday. Similarly, the All Shares Index, which opened at 39,553.00, appreciated by 278.83 points to close at 39,831.83. Port oil for the second consecutive day led the gainer stable, appreciating by 17.34 naira to close at 186.54 naira per share. Mobile trade with 5 naira 10 kobo to close at 130 naira, while Nigerian breweries rose by 2 naira 63 kobo to close at 176 naira 0.13 per share. Large Lafarge Waco garnered 2 naira 49 kobo to close at 112 naira 0.50 kobo, while Owando gained 1 naira 72 kobo to close at 20 naira per share. Conversely, SimCap led the losers chart, dropping by 5 naira 17 kobo to close at 98 naira 0.33 kobo per unit. Okomu oil lost 1 naira 70 kobo to close at 32 naira 30 kobo, while Better Glass dropped at 85 kobo to close at 16 naira 22 kobo per share. Carberton lost 74 kobo to close at 7 naira and 2 kobo, while Guaranteed Trust Bank depreciated by 47 kobo to close at 27 naira 68 kobo per share. In All Investors Exchange, 198.03 million shares worth 3.09 million naira achieved in 5,187 deals on Friday against 267.78 million shares valued at 3.18 billion naira traded in 3,937 deals on Thursday. And here's the top 5 trades. And that's it on business news. Over to you, Brownson, who will be giving us all the details in sports.
Thanks for joining us in sport. All right, very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Wana. Super Eagles striker Emmanuel Emenike says his goals in Brazil will help Nigeria to progress in the World Cup. The Turkish League winner and AFCON 2013 top scorer has vowed to score goals to put the Super Eagles to prove. I'll take that again. The Turkish League winner and AFCON 2013 top scorer has vowed to score goals to help the Super Eagles prove that they are the continent's reigning champions in Brazil. Emenike has enjoyed his best ever season at the heart of Fenerbahce's attack in 2013-2014, leading the clubs to its 19th league title with 12 league goals and 9 assists in 29 matches. The 27-year-old said Stephen Kesh's lad will bring Africa joy in South America. And of course, Newcastle defender Paul Bomet has received online death threats from Uruguayan fans who believe the knee injury sustained by Luis Suarez was caused by him. Luis Suarez had surgery on Wednesday, but is hopeful of being fit for next month's World Cup. Uruguay fans have targeted Bomet via Twitter for a challenge he made in a Premier League game on Suarez, but it is not certain it caused the injury. Bomet was sent off, but his red card was later rescinded. And of course, the UEFA Champions League, the 2014 Champions League final at Lisbon Stadium of Light is going to be a very special one for Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo, who will be making a club appearance in his homeland. The Portuguese national captain has scored a sensational record 16 goals in the competition and is delighted to be facing Atletico Madrid in his own capital city, where he began his career with Sporting Lisbon. Meanwhile, Spain international striker Diego Costa was pulled during his 1-1 draw with Barcelona last weekend after suffering a hamstring injury, throwing his participation in Saturday's clash in a very big doubt. And away from that, and Mori will play Kazakhstan's Andrei Gubelov in the first round of the French Open with champions Rafael Nadal in the same half of the draw. Murray, seeded 7th, has faced Gubelov twice, beating him 6-1, 6-1 on the hard court of the St. Petersburg in 2008. Should the British #1 progress to the second round, he could face Swiss 3rd seed Stanislav Wawrinka in the quarterfinals and Spaniard Nadal in the last 4. Novak Djokovic, the 2nd seed, begins against Portugal João Sousa, while 4th seed Roger Federer takes on Lukas Dlako of Slovakia. Finally, on sports news tonight, we go straight to the world of Formula 1, where Nico Rosberg is to remain at Mercedes alongside Lewis Hamilton after signing a contract extension for at least 2 seasons. The 28-year-old's current deal was due to expire at the end of his campaign. The German driver, who won the opening race of 2014, is second on the standing behind Hamilton, who is in the 2nd season of his career. And that's Sport News tonight. My name is Brownson Wana. Franco Malape will be back with the rest of the news. Stay with us.
Thank you, Brownson, for that exciting news in the world of sports. Well, you're still watching CoreTv News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTv News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTv News NG. Also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTv News. Outside Nigeria now, Thailand's new military junta summoned all state government leaders after it seized power as opponents of the coup engaged in a tense confrontation with soldiers enforcing martial law on the street of Bangkok. The kingdom's tough talking army chief Prayut Chan-o-cha deposed the civilian government, the latest twist in years of escalating political turmoil in a move that drew international criticism. Former Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, removed from office in a controversial court ruling earlier this month, was among more than 3 dozen prominent figures from both sides of Thailand's political divide summoned by the junta. Yingluck's aide Winrungwata Najinda says the former premier was thought to have been taken to a military camp outside the capital, but the junta stayed silent on her whereabouts as well as those of others called, including her successor Niwaturong Bunso Payson. And finally, the International Criminal Court has sentenced Congolese warlord Jamin Simba Katanga to 12 years in jail for arming an ethnic militia that carried out a cruel 2003 village massacre. Presiding Judge Bruno Cote told the Hague-based court in its second sentencing since opening in 2003 that the almost 11 years that Katanga has already been spent in detention will be deducted from the sentence. Katanga was convicted in March of war crimes and crimes against humanity, including murder and pillaging, for his role in the attack on Bongoro village in the volatile Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on February 24, 2003. Judges found that he armed fighters of the Patriotic Resistance Force in Ituri who carried out the village massacre in which more than 200 people died. The ICC, however, cleared Katanga of charges of rape, sexual slavery, and using child soldiers. Katanga's lawyers have appealed his conviction and, however, have another 30 days to appeal his sentence. The decision on the conviction's appeal is still pending. Well, that will be a wrap on the package tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape, and from all of us here, we say good night. Bye-bye for now.